It's hard to see, but it's there at the end of it. Let's reduce the size of this window. Next, let's open up the project file, the CS file, and add these using statements. And everywhere where I see in brackets project name, I'll type in my first project. For step 12, I need to add a couple protocols to the project. So where I have DSS service base, I'll put a comma and the name of the protocols. We need the simulation engine as one of the partners. I'll put that right underneath the state. And finally, we need all this code in step 14. I'll copy that and put it underneath the constructor method. For step 15, I need some additional code that goes in the start method. I'll remove these lines that are commented out. And then again, change project name in brackets to my first project. Step 16, click on my first project, properties, and go in the debug. As you can see, part of the command line arguments has app data local temporary projects, which means on this computer it will not work unless I make some changes. So I'll perform steps 17 and 18. First I'll go into the build. Look for the output path, hit the browse button, and navigate to where the installation for Robotics Studio, the folder, and go in the bin directory. It's already there, so I'll just hit select folder. And for step 19 or 18, I will need to put the path into the command line arguments. So what I'll do is I'll just open up my project. This is the path that needs to go in there, so I'll hit copy address as text. And then in debug, let's make this larger so you can see it. I'll replace the front part of the quotes and leave the manifest file because that will be the same. I'll delete that and paste the path and change all the backslashes to forward slashes. Now let's reduce the size and go into step number 19, File, Save All. In my case, I'm running Windows 64, so I have to perform step 19, which I will go into the project directory, open up my first project, csproj user, with the editor, and wherever I see DSS host, I'll add 32 to it. There are only two places. Then I'll save it. Then I'll close the project and then reopen it. Step 20, I'll press F6 to do build. As you can see, the build succeeded. So I'm finished with the Visual Studio part. Next, I need to launch Google SketchUp. I'll get rid of the man and hit File, Save. Navigate to my projects directory, my first project. And I will change the name to my first project scene that we used in the earlier step. And hit Save. In the plugins, I'll look at Preferences and check to make sure this is the name that is used where I installed Microsoft Robotics Developer Studio. And I appended store/media is what you need there for this to work properly. Next, I will hit the ground tool to create a ground, and then hit the F6 to export, or the F5 to export. Then I'll open up Visual Studio and hit F5 again to run the project. And if all goes well, we'll have the ground in the simulator. As you can see, the project worked properly. I have the ground in the simulator, and now this project is an AR enabled project, and you are able to use SketchUp to build your scenes and your robots within your scene.